England beat San Marino last night 6-0. We expected them. We knew they would go on to win, but it was a big evening for Wayne Rooney. Scored his goal. He's now level with Sir Bobby Charlton. How do you rank Rooney and rate his England career so far?
I think the reality is he'll always be judged on achievement in terms of whether he wins a trophy. I mean, the reason that Charlton still stands sans pavillon, I would say, despite the figures, is that he won the World Cup. He was part of the only successful England team. What I would say also, it's easy to say, oh, Rooney scores all these soft goals and that doesn't... Well, Charlton, great player he was, scored 15 against the home nations and 5 against Luxembourg. I mean, in every era you have teams you play a lot and you score goals against. Rooney has scored more tournament goals for England than every player except Gary Lineker. He scored 6 tournament goals. Now, let's contextualise that. However, until he's part of a successful England team, he will always be seen as an underachiever, just by the nature of football. I think that Rooney has proven himself over 12 years to be an outstanding England player. He may not have been quite the player we all thought he was going to be in 2004, but he's adapted himself, he's changed himself, he's delivered time and time and time again, and his record over the last few years for England is exceptional. There's no argument with that whatsoever. And did he score the goals he wanted to score in the World Cup? No. Didn't play that badly, just the chances didn't go in. I mean, you know, against Uruguay before he scores, he hits the bar from close range, he creates openings. He has been a brilliant England player. And if the rest of the team around him hasn't quite been as good as the team that was around Charlton and maybe Lineker as well in his time in 86 and 90, that's not his fault. You know, he can only play with the team he's in. He has been, you know, an outstanding England player. There's no way around it.
Darren, good to see you. Why does Steve Bates in the People this morning writes a piece? He says that Rooney continues to divide opinion. Why do you think that is? He says the facts don't lie. He scored 49 goals in 106 internationals for England. We know about his goal-scoring record for Manchester United, of course.
Yeah, well, he's come in to this period of internationals without having scored a goal in 10 Premier League games. As Martin rightly says, when you look at Charlton and what he achieved for England, a lot of people say that you can't regard Wayne Rooney in the same light. I actually think that you have to applaud his longevity. He's come in as, what, a teenager. He's managed to stay at the top level for over a decade. I think he could end his career having been the record scorer for England and Manchester United. I think he's been very unlucky, because earlier in his career, when he had so much promise, he was beset by injury. He himself would admit he wasn't very well disciplined. He had the red card at the World Cup. And I think Sir Alex has obviously got the best out of him. What, 3 titles, I think. 1 European Cup, sorry, 5 titles, forgive me, and 1 European Cup. But I think, and Martin and I disagree on this, but I think England haven't got the best out of him. I think if England had probably achieved more, Rooney would have achieved more by definition. I think he's been very unfortunate as far as that's concerned, but I think, you know, he can do no more than score the goals that he has, and to score 50 goals, or 49 goals, for your country in any context is an outstanding achievement.
Has he matured since he's been given the England captaincy by Roy Hodgson? Has he matured as a person, as a more rounded individual, as a better player, do you think?
Well, it's hard to know what's going on deep into what he's really like, but what comes over when he gives interviews is certainly he's taking the captaincy incredibly seriously, which you'd hope would happen, and presumably he wouldn't have been given it if they didn't think he would say the right thing and act the right way and take it that seriously. I think he's more important than that, though, which we'd hope would be a given, is that he's thinking so deeply about his football. He's going to be 30 soon-ish. He has to think about how he fits into a team, because he got lots of attention for being strong, powerful and quick and having that youthful exuberance and fearlessness. Well, that's not really what he's about anymore. He is slightly slower, but he's decided to make that work for him. He really admires the world's best number 10s. He wants to be more of a link player. I really get the sense from what he says that he wants to understand the game more. It's not just about instinct, it's about where I need to make runs and who I need to pass the ball to more, rather than it just being I'm a force of nature. And it takes a while for your teammates and your managers and the public to get used to the new you. And I think that's partly why opinion is divided on him, because sometimes he doesn't look very effective, and it's because he's not the Rooney of old. Well, he can't be the Rooney of old, and he'd be a fool if he thought, I'll try and pretend I'm 18 again. He's trying to mature on and off the pitch, and maybe it will come to fruition during the championships themselves. That would be the perfect scenario.